like an overhang with the parchment. All right, spread it into a layer so it's all even on top. And then let's get this in the oven. Love it in the oven. That's right, Alex. Thanks for getting with the program today. So I'm going to bake the cake at 350 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes. And then I'll take it out, let it cool, and make the cherry icing. All right, the cake is baked and cool, and I'm going to make a bright pink icing because it's a special occasion. This is a dinner for my sweetheart. And speaking of which, I cannot imagine making any sort of meal for Lad where dessert is not some form of chocolate. Chocolate and love, they go together. I should have a t-shirt that says that. So I'm making the frosting, and it's basically powdered sugar, a couple of big spoonfuls of cherry preserve, and then I also added about 5 drops of red food coloring, and I'm going to give it a stir and see how pink it is. And I can always add more if I need to. I want this to be pretty thick, but also pourable, so I can kind of drizzle it onto the cake. And looks like I'm going to need just a little bit more milk just to thin it out. But I love this frosting because it has cherry preserves in it, but it's not like a really strong cherry flavor. Sometimes when you try to make something too cherry flavored, it can wind up tasting like cough medicine, I think. So I try just to add subtle hints of cherry, and I love how kind of sweet and tart the cherry preserves are. Okay, that is coming together well, and this is a chunky cherry preserve, so you can see the chunks of cherry in the frosting. It's really, really good. Okay, I think this is a good consistency. We'll see if it's too thin or not. I doubt it. Woo. All right, so I'm going to drizzle this over the top. This on over the top. Fill that well in the center there. Yeah, it is pretty, isn't it? It's so simple, this cake. I mean, that took nothing at all to pull together. It just took a little time to bake the cake and let it cool. You definitely want the cake to cool because if you don't, you will wind up with